Well, good evening, everybody. Hope we are all well. I saw there was a slight freeze on the camera as we switched just there. Seems to happen. Hopefully that's going to be the only trouble this evening because I've had a lot of fun playing around with the laptop and getting everything sorted. How are we all doing? Anyway, that's the technical issue. How are we all doing and what have we all been up to on this lovely May bank holiday weekend? I'm feeling invigorated. I said on my Supporters Club podcast the other day, I had a long weekend off work last weekend and I feel all the better for it. I feel energetic. I feel like I'm ready to take on the world. And that's just my stance already. So, yeah, it's been great. It's been great. Now, as always, I like to start off the show by asking, what have you been up to in your own allotment and garden? We'll go through the comments in just a second. Actually, we'll go through the comments right now, and then I'll let you know what I've been up to myself. Quite a few comments coming in. Lots of people out there. Lovely to see you all. We got Oracle. Hello to you. We got TurboStream. Hello to you. We've got Philly. Hello to you. Hope you are well. Straight away, TurboStream has planted our onions and beetroot, plus a few cauliflower plants on the plot. Fantastic. That's great. Stuart Jackson. Hello to you. TurboStream's also sowed runner beans, climbing French beans, outdoor cucumbers and courgettes. Busy. Yeah. I'll let you know what I've been up to in a minute as well. Hargrave Gas has also joined us. Hello to you. Stuart Jackson, he has pricked out Brussels sprouts and kohlrabi plus lots of flowers. Jen's Allotment Adventures has joined. Hello to you. Ian Beddoes has joined. Hello to you. My good dad has joined. Hello to you. Hope you're well. Muddy Boots, Nigel, hello and welcome. Hello to you. Dad's been mowing the lawn in between the odd shower of rain. Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Stephen Musco, hello to you, has been planting out his main crop potatoes. Jin's Allotment Adventures has been sowing runner beans. Money Boots has been shoveling a few tons of cow manure to compost bays. And Stuart Jackson, I've also pot out my green beans. So basically, lots and lots of tasks people are doing. It's great. It suddenly feels like now is the time that we can really crack on. I don't know if anybody else has felt this. In sort of April, the last few weeks, I've been feeling like I've not been able to move ahead, waiting for that weather to improve. And I don't really feel that we can pot plants out until May, depending really on what the plants is. Anyway, what have I been up to? Well, in terms of seeds that I've been sowing, I've sown sorrel, cucumber, Swiss chard, kale, and some more tomatoes. Been pricking out lots of plants: dill, marigolds, butternut squash, cucumber, courgettes, nasturtiums, Chinese kale, and asparagus pea. I've also been tidying up my garden, and I've planted herbs into my area that I'm calling the herb garden / wildflower meadow / orchard. So basically been busy going on here at the Veg Grower Podcast. Yesterday I needed to run out in the morning to do an errand, and I got stuck in a load of traffic for 6 bloody hours. So I wrote yesterday off. Thankfully, tomorrow is a day off and we can go down the allotment tomorrow to make up for it. And today, actually, the weather today has been fantastic. Out in the garden, we get really nice, bright sunshine. And then a few minutes later, it's thundering it down with a lot of rain. It's been really quite cool. And I'm quite grateful for the rain myself. I don't know if anybody else, I've been really excited by the rain we've got this week. I don't know if anybody else has found this. It's been so dry lately that the weather, the rain was really quite welcome. Let's have a quick look at the comments. So Richard Golding has joined. Hello to you. I hope you are well. TurboStream. I planted things out as I'm off to sunny Pembrokeshire in my camper van. The rain can water them in tomorrow. Lots of rain forecast for tomorrow. Well, if it is raining, it's raining. I'll be on the allotment getting wet. Amanda Joy, hello to you. I did get your photo, but I didn't have time to download it, so I'm going to save your photo for next week. She says, hello all. Hope you're having a lovely bank holiday. I've got absolutely soaked today at the allotment in Leeds. but my new polytunnel is up. I'm over the moon. I am absolutely pleased to hear about your polytunnel. All you people talking about polytunnels is making me want one more and more. Sam Suter has joined. Hello to you. Jen's Allotment Adventures. I've missed having my mini greenhouse to get things started. We had snow shower for about an hour on Friday. Wow, snow. So temperatures are still low here. Wow, snow on a Friday. Amanda, also been lots of potting up this week. Everything is now growing so quickly. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I've noticed that certainly in the last week, the weather's warmed up, obviously, and the plants, the tomatoes particularly, and suddenly just shot into growth and really are going well. Stuart Jackson, there's a question. Don't forget to, if you've got a question that you want anybody to answer, this is open for everyone to answer and get a team together to try and answer these questions. Can butternut squash go out or are they a greenhouse crop? Right. I put my butternut squashes outside, but I wouldn't put them outside yet. I would wait probably for me middle of May, where you are probably beginning of June. But I would say they don't need to go in a greenhouse, but I'd probably do better in a greenhouse. Nigel, Amanda's polytunnel is getting a lot of love. Nigel says you will quickly dry out in the tunnel. Absolutely. Digwell Green Fingers, good luck with the asparagus peas. I cannot stand the taste. I've never grown asparagus peas before, and I've never tried eating them either. So I'm interested to see just how they get on. But I do like asparagus and I do like peas. So we'll find out how they are. Right. Sam Suter is saying they've not had rain where he is today. Hopefully tomorrow you'll get rain. Now, Turbo Stream has another question. So, Stuart's question about butternut squash, please feel free to answer. But Stuart is asking, I pulled a flower stem from my rhubarb today. Do I need to do anything else to it? Right. So, the chances are your rhubarb is just feeling a little bit, stressed. Now, it's probably down to the lack of rainfall, in honesty. So, just give it a really good water and perhaps a handful of chicken manure pellets would just to feed it would go a long way. Apart from that, as long as I've pulled lots of flowers off my rhubarb at home. I'm not bothered. It happens every year this time. That particular rhubarb is an early crop. It'll be okay. Rhubarb is tough as anything. I've only known one person, he might be watching tonight, one person who's ever killed off rhubarb. Digwell, I did naked gardening 2 days early as a rain dance. So it's all your fault that we're getting this rain. Well, I don't mind that. Fiona Cooper, we got our runner beans, tomatoes. Dean was on about swede. Got to go and buy some compost tomorrow. I've got to do my swede. That's something I'm got to remember to do. I always leave my swede till far too late, and I really want to get swede, especially for Christmas dinner this year. Ballycillian, praying for rain. I think we'll get it tomorrow. Never seen the plot so dry for this time of year in Belfast. I've got to admit, I've never seen it this dry either here on the south coast. And added to that, Stuart Jackson has had no rain in Wiltshire either today. So, well, I feel very lucky to have rain. It makes a change to actually get some unusual weather here, but never mind. Let's just have a swig of my coffee. So, yeah, it was, well, yeah. So keep letting us know what your, let me get my words out today. Keep letting us know what you've been up to in your allotment and garden in the comments, or you can call it in on, let's put the number on the bottom of the screen. There we go. You can call in, or you can zap yourself in as well. Let's do that on the link that's going out in the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. If you're watching in the Facebook group, I'm afraid you won't see the comments because of how Facebook works. Sorry to say that, but it's how it goes sometimes. So Stuart Jackson has also killed rhubarb in his time. I'm very surprised at that. I've never heard until this weekend of anybody killing rhubarb. Now I know 2 people have. Digwell, my Swede ruby has not germinated in 2 weeks. Oh, I thought Swede is normally pretty quick to germinate, although it is a brassica. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to sow my Swede. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll make a note and I will sow Swede tomorrow, and we'll see how long it takes to germinate. I would do it tonight because I have actually got the second camera set up like so. Look, there's my hand. So I could have sown some seeds tonight, but I didn't think of it. But yeah, finally got that set up. Turbo Stream, thank you, Richard. I did put pellets down early in the year. Hopefully the rain tomorrow will help the rhubarb. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem with your rhubarb at the moment, Turbo Stream, is it's so dry. It's just so dry. When I planted out my herbs in my new herb garden area, actually, I dug down with my spade and I mean, some of my pots are quite deep, probably about a foot down. It was dry, that low down, a foot down. It was dry. That's really quite worrying. Graham Arnold has sown some Swede today and potted dahlias and marigolds on. I've potted some marigolds on as well. I'm trying to do some companion planting with marigolds. I spoke about this on the main podcast. Anybody out there has ever done companion planting, please do let us know how it works. But I'm growing marigolds purely for that. Nigel is saying to Turbo Stream, keep an eye on the rhubarb. It may throw up a few more flowers once one appears. Yeah. My one at home particularly, it threw up about five flowers, I think, in the last week. It stopped it now. It's just the nature of it. In fact, I've got to make rhubarb full tomorrow for our dinner, but I'm thinking I might make it for next Sunday as well and bring it into here to see how it goes. I say how it goes. I'll find out tomorrow how it goes. But anyway, so Digwell is saving this as a Swede, I believe, a second sowing for the rain tomorrow. Here you go, Digwell. Excuse me. When you've sown your Swede, have you sown it directly where they are to grow? Excuse me. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee at the same time. Only reason I'm asking is I tend to always try and sow in pots to transplant on. But just interested to know if you're doing yours where they are to grow and if that makes any difference. Now, which one do I want to get rid of? I want this one up now. So what I discovered yesterday, and this was through Subpod, who very kindly sent me a underground composting system that they built a few months back, and I talk about it quite often on the podcast because I think it's a good piece of kit. But they shared my video and my podcast the other day, and it turns out it's International Compost Day. I think it was yesterday, as well as World Naked Gardening Day, and what was it? Something this week, I've forgotten now. Basically, gardening is at the forefront of everything. But has anybody got any composting tips that we can share out? For example, a tip that I have, and I've spoken about this on the podcast quite a bit, is that when I'm weeding or pruning or basically getting any organic matter, I tend to throw all that on the lawn and then run over it with the lawnmower. So it all gets chopped up nice and small. Now, the reason I do that is that what I discovered is a bit more work to get it ready, but once it's in the bin, it heats up quicker. It fits down into the bin more, so you get more in there, but it heats up quicker, it rots down faster, and it produces a beautifully crumbly compost at the end of it. And because it's so small or so chopped up, there's plenty of air in there as well. So for me, that's a tip that I've shared. Now, I probably shouldn't share, because when you're running over some logs or some large branches with the lawnmower and it goes flying off everywhere, I'm amazed I haven't smashed a window yet. So it's probably not the right tip to share, but it works nonetheless. So Digwell is saying in modular trays. So no, he has. The question I asked if he was sowing them directly where they are to grow. So he's saying no, he's sowing them in modular trays, which is basically what I do anyway. So that's comforting to hear. On that note, Turbo Stream said, I direct sowed swede last year and they didn't grow. The module sown ones were brilliant, yet the packet says direct sow. See, that's always something that I've found is that I've always had much more luck by sowing in modules or sowing. I tend to use these trays. I have much more luck sowing in those rather than direct sown, except for carrots and parsnips, purely because, well, my reasoning I've always done that is that as they grow, you can never work out what's a weed or if you're inexperienced, what's a weed or what you've actually sown. And particularly on my allotment, the couch grass would just swamp out anything that I'd sow directly there. So that's why I tend to modular slow anyway. Stuart Jackson, never saw you on Instagram naked like everyone else. No, you won't. Certainly not this year anyway. Not all the time I've got this belly on me. I thought about putting it out there, and seeing as you've brought it up, Stuart, I'm going to try and lose weight anyway. But I'm thinking if I was to do it next year, I think it would have to try and earn some money for charity for me to do it, in all honesty. I wouldn't want to inflict this on everybody else without there being a good reason. I've done swede called tweed. Has anyone grown them before? There you go. That's a question for everyone. Has anybody sown a swede called tweed? What's your thoughts on it and how did it go? Composting tip from Nigel coming in. Equal green and brown waste. Chop up fine before putting in the bin. Will decompose quicker. Yep. That's why I run over everything with a lawnmower, and with having chickens as well, it's actually quite easy to get equal amounts all the time. There you go, Graham. Nigel has sown those every year, so that's a good recommendation from him. I've done a few windows with a lawnmower, Richard Golden says. Absolutely, that's what I've always been worried about, because I see bits flying off here, there, and everywhere, and boom, when I run over stuff with a lawnmower. But luckily, we've not smashed anything. We get our windows replaced in a couple of months, so I may not be allowed to do that again. Nui99, hello to you. Hope you are well. Evening all. Sorry you've been late. Been trying to catch my message. Oh, I hope you found your cat. Actually, no, not the right time to bring this up. Nigel, prefer to sow in modules, then you get less gaps with failures. Absolutely, yeah. That's another reason why I like to sow in modules is less gaps. I can work out what I want where, yeah. And Digwell is also saying, I sow everything in modules or trays except carrots or parsnips. So we are quite like-minded in that regard. I think it's great to discuss this. I often wonder if things are better when they are directly sown, but from my experience, it's not. I've always had much better results, or I find it much easier. It's a lot more work, but I just come in here every night and do 10 minutes work and pricking out seeds, putting them on 10 minutes every night. I'm on top of it. Adrian has joined. Hello to you. Hope you are well. This is somebody in the Facebook group. So unfortunately, when you're in the Facebook group, I can't necessarily see who you are. I water the compost bin to keep it moist. Is his first tip. Absolutely brilliant tip. 2, if you get some worms in the bin, they really work on the compost. And when you empty the bin, pop the worms back in the bottom of the bin to start the composting again. Absolutely, yeah. Worms are such a fantastic animal. I think they often go unknown, or unless you're a gardener. But the work that they do is just amazing. Turbo Stream. I mix in used tea leaves, coffee grounds in my compost. It's mainly weeds on the allotment though, not so much brown to be had. I guess you can bag weeds till they dry out and use as brown. I would personally say you could get away with it, but by the time they've gone from green to brown, they've lost a lot of the stuff that you want in a compost heap. So that's why I tend to throw it. I mean, this is easy for me to say this because I have chickens, and when I clean out the chickens, I get a lot of wood shavings, a lot of straw, which makes up a lot of my brown materials. So yeah, a wood chip or a lot of stuff like that makes up for the browns. But I know what you're saying. So no worries. The cat came to the front door and then did a runner. Oh, okay. So you haven't. Hopefully your cat will come back. I've got a sort of sad story to say a bit later on, so I'll save that till a bit later on in relation with that. Paper pots for everything, better for me. This is with regards to direct sowing or growing in modules. I know Stuart Jackson likes to do a lot of his in paper pots, including carrots and parsnips. Ad Webb, hello to you. Hope you are well. Happy bank holiday. Fantastic. Good, lovely old play on words there. Ballycinian also likes a module method as you can control the germination and growing conditions until planting out time. Yeah, this is it. This is absolutely it. Right, I'm adding the link if anybody wants to zap themselves in on to our basically appear on the show with your webcam or whatever you may have, and keep the conversation going. That is available now in the comments, or you can call in on 07307 135 174. Graham Arnold is, will lupins or calendula tolerate a light frost? I believe they will. I haven't grown either of those for many years, in all honesty. But calendula I have actually, and they're pretty tough. But I do believe they will grow through a light frost. But we'll put that out there to all the flower growers out there who may have more experience than what I say with that. What else have we got? Used ripped up cardboard, shredded junk mail. This is for the brown materials to turbo stream with regards to improving your composting or composting tip. Ripped up cardboard. I've got so much cardboard. Everything, get parts at work, it comes in a cardboard box. The back of my van is just full of cardboard boxes. Shredded junk mail, old egg boxes, paperback books for brown. I also added cheapest porridge oats I can find. There you go. I never thought of using porridge oats. Andrew Norris has joined all the way in Croatia. Hope you are well. Lovely to see you. Just to let you know, he has hit £400 for the brain tumour charity South so far this year. Fantastic. Sorry, one of those. Sorry. Dan Wheeler is out there. Hello to you. Hope you are well. Turbo Stream. Yes, Nigel. Good tips. I do add egg boxes. I need to up my brown game then. I do think people have it's harder to find the brown materials compared to the greens. I mean, that's to be expected, isn't it? But for me, this is one of the bonuses of having chickens, is that you can always find a lot more brown materials just by having chickens and cleaning them out, and the quail for that, although the quail are more sand. Right, so Stuart Jackson, this is with regards to lupins and calendula tolerating a light frost. They are both fine outside. Most perennials are okay outside. It's also echoed by Digwell, who says Calendula will stand a light frost, one of my companion plants this year. And somebody in the Facebook group, again, apologies, I can't see who you are, just comes up as Facebook user. Lupins are fine, but cover your calendula if seedlings till you harden them off. There we go. Oh, this is a very good question that's came in from Andrew Norris. Is it good to use a junk mail for brown waste? All those printed inks. So here's the thing. A lot of the junk mail now, the ink that's used is actually a vegetable-based ink. They moved on to that a few years back, and pretty much all of them are vegetable-based ink. So I would say yes, that's definitely very safe to use in the compost bin this day and age. Now, if it's older stuff, that probably wasn't using that stuff, but now it's vegetable based. There we go. So the microphone will not pick this up. I can hear my chickens whining at the moment. They're locked away in their coop, and this is where I've got this slightly sad story to share. So, Nui, I'm going to give you this warning because of what's going on with your cat. If you don't want to hear this, it has a happy ending, but if you don't want to hear this, cover your ears for the next 2 minutes. Now, what day was it? Thursday. I'm driving home from work. I got a phone call from the wife, and I could tell as soon as I answered, she was worried about something. And what she said is that one of my chickens, she looked out into the garden to see one of my chickens being pinned down by a fox that somehow got in my garden late afternoon. So bless her, she ran out of her office, down the stairs, through the kitchen, grabbing a mop in the way, and scared off the fox from my chicken. It was Boona, my black-tailed chicken. Luckily, the Boona survived. She's got a little scratch on her back, lost a lot of feathers, and she has been terrified since. Was that someone out there? Oh. I thought I saw her someone. She's been terrified since, but she's okay. She survived this fox attack, and I'm absolutely pleased that she has survived this fox attack. All I've got to think now is how I can make my garden so much more safer from these foxes, because I don't mind foxes. I don't want them attacking my chickens. So let's have a quick look what is going on. Turbo Stream, my plot is covered in Calendula seedlings, all self-sown despite the recent frosts and dry weather. That happens every year on mine, actually. Calendula was sown somebody before me, and nasturtiums as well, for that matter. They pop up all over the place on my plot, and I like to leave them, to be honest. They are a weed, of course, but I don't mind weeds that, well, both of those are useful in the garden. Nasturtium is edible, and they're both companion planting and will attract black fly off my main plant. So I've not minded having these pop up, but they're saying, if you put, also this is a good thing when it comes back to this composting system. When you're putting stuff into your compost, something like calendula, if the seed or if the flower head has gone to seed, do not put that in your compost. Otherwise, you will end up with hundreds of calendula in the compost. Digwell is also back me up with what I knew about the most inks are starch/veggie based. So basically, they're organic. Nui, I use rapeseed straw now over wood chip for chickens as it breaks down quicker in the compost heap and holds more liquid there. Yeah, I've got wood chip and then straw in the nest box. I clean them out on a weekly basis, and of course you get the chicken manure, which is just fantastic, in the compost as well, because it's a green thing. And really built in, really green compost, and it adds all that great stuff to it. So Andrew's learned something there about the junk mail being veggie/starch based inks. Didn't know that. Thanks. Dan Wheeler, contact local offices for shredded paper company. Usually they have to charge to get it. Usually they have to pay to get it removed, and that's something I've heard as well. And yeah, it's a free source. Shredded paper. I don't understand why it's not used in compost heaps more with these companies if they've got the facilities to do it in some ways. Oh, Margaret Peacock is shared. She had the same with her geese, the jaws from the fox, but luckily the geese survived, just like my beloved little chicken, Boona. Yeah, foxes, not pleasant, but foxes are just doing what they do. I mixed my compost today. I've never seen many worms already finding the benefit of composting. We can all do composting. It does not matter the size of our garden. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I mean, this is, sorry to go on about the sub pod, but this is something I love about the sub pod. Now, I will say this, sub pod have not paid me anything. They've just given me a compost system back in December. But they're not paying anything for it. I just think in a garden, particularly my one, I've got 4 Dalek style compost bins, and they're okay. They do the job, but I just think they're a bit unsightly, and I keep trying to find a way to sort of hide them, but also still make them usable. Because if you put them somewhere where they're not usable, you're not going to use them, or I certainly wouldn't anyway. So this is what I love about the sub pod, is that it can go in any garden. It doubles up as a bench, and it doesn't look that intrusive. So in fact, I've seen on the sub pod website, somebody's put 4 sub pods around the table in their garden. That's where they would eat their, barbecues and stuff. So that's one reason that I just love the sub pod. Digwell saying, be careful with rapeseed straw. Probably the crop that is sprayed with the most I can never pronounce this word. So amniphorades kills all broadleaf plants. Yeah, I've heard that. It's found in quite often in compost, especially compost from the council waste. This amniphorides, which is a weed killer, as I understand it. It's it can be, but that's why I hate weed killer. I don't want to get on my high horse about this, but I don't use weed killer at all because I just think it's lazy. Well, not lazy. It's not needed. I do think there are a place for weed killer, but on a whole, I think it's overused. Anyway. Turbo Stream has left them to grow. They were lovely. This is a calendula at the South Seeds. Lovely splash of colour in the summer. I will thin them out as they grow. Definitely. Yeah, that's something I tend to do as well, is leave them and like the flowers. And of course, they're companion planting, so they're going to attract those bees, those butterflies in, and they're going to help pollinate my fruit, my vegetables. And also, they're going to attract things like black fly and stuff as well. It's just, I've got quite a few. I'm not going to move them because I've only sort of pricked them out today. So I've got quite a few trays worth up there. Excuse me. Can't have chickens loose in the garden in Brighton. Too many foxes here. Yeah, I mean, we only let our chickens out when we're in the house, if you like, and now we only do it when we're in the garden since this fox attack. When both Amanda and I were at work during the week, well, we all when we had to leave the house when she had to leave the house to go to work, I should say, they were in their run all day. I couldn't let them roam the garden without anybody being here. Now she's at home a bit more. We let them out late morning, or she does anyway, to roam the garden. And it's been fantastic, actually, because I feel happier. They get more space. They lay better eggs, fresher eggs. But they've also get that room to explore, dig up any weeds and stuff. They also dig up quite a few plants, so they're not easy to look after. They're not great in the garden in all ways, but no, never mind. Digwell's helping me with the pronunciation of this word, aminopyrylades. Aminopyrylades. There we go. I'm not going to remember how to say that, but I will keep trying. Has anyone found plastic in their peat-free compost? I found pieces in every bag so far, and it was organic. I've not found plastic in any peat-free compost, but I have found stones and rocks, bricks. I've also found cardboard in the peat-free compost that I use, which basically just hasn't rotted down enough. But I'm not too worried about the cardboard, but I would be a bit annoyed about plastic. Stuart, are you getting your plastic from the same supplier each time, or is it different suppliers? Or not so much supplier, manufacturer? Can't think of the word. Nui, calendula in my garden in Cornwall are flowering from last year. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. When I've left calendula in the ground over winter on my allotment, I found they flower quite early, and they seem to cope with growing throughout the world. Not so much growing, but they seem to cope with the winter. The frost didn't kill them off. They went green. They didn't look all that pretty over the winter, but they did start bouncing back, and it didn't die, I guess. Cornwall, where we are, Newey in Brighton, it's probably just as mild as I am here as well. I think we can get away with leaving them in the ground all year round. I have to try that. I'm going to try that. I did find that if they were in pots, they didn't survive the winter so much, but certainly in the ground. I had pieces that look like the insides of a beanbag. Oh, right. I think this is Ian Beddoes. I think this is in in his compost. And I think I know what that is. If I just reach over here, hopefully I didn't do anything. It's perlite. I knew there was a reason I set up this camera. So let's bring in the second camera and I can show you what I'm on about. Is that the stuff that you found in your... It's a bit out of focus, isn't it? Oh well. Is this the stuff that you found in your compost? Because it looks a bit like beanbag stuff. It's perlite. It's if I remember right, it's made from a volcanic something to do with the volcanic regions. It's a rock that's been superheated to make it ultra light, or sand or glass or something that comes out like that. If that's in your compost, that's a good thing because it acts as like a moisture retentive thing, in my opinion. I won't say the name, but you can only get one product at my garden centre. Okay. Now I didn't want you to say the name, but if it's all from the same supplier, it's a supplier issue or the manufacturer issue while you're getting plastic. Write to them. And I'm sure they will address the issue. Email them, something like that, or even give them a call. They're pretty good at that. Yes, every single bag. So I stopped using the pieces of polytwine, shredded... Oh, sorry. I did silence. Stuart, yes, every single bag. So I stopped using pieces of polytwine, shredded plant pots, pieces of compost bags, etc. That might be what it is. Plant pots found in your compost heaps, shredded up. That makes a lot of sense. But Digwell has also had polystyrene beads too. Okay. How could yes, I know people have put polystyrene in the bottom of pots to make them a bit lighter for moving around and act as a drainage. So I wonder if that's gone through the machines that shred everything to make composting. That's a theory. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. Is it best to plant companion plants close to the crop you want to protect or in a different area in your garden? Good question. I've not really given this one much thought. I would say you want them reasonably near. So let's say you have a row of tomatoes. You want your row of basil next to the tomatoes in close proximity. But those two are to do with flavour. In terms of pest protection, I'm going to say, yeah, I think, let's say you have broad beans and your nasturtiums are, I think they need to be close. And I've always put them close, almost winding through them. Let's find out what everyone else does with regards to that and everyone else's thoughts. I'm going to say yes, put them close, depending on what you're after doing for them. That's a bit of a difficult, not a difficult question, a stupid answer to a good question, but I'm thinking on my feet here of how to word it, and sometimes I rabble on in order to try and get the words out correctly. Doesn't work all the time. Right, let's add the link. If anybody wants to zap themselves in, the link is in the comments on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. And just click on the link. It will take you to my green room. Check everything's okay, and then you can come in and appear on screen. Alternatively, you can ring in on 07307 135 174. I was about to give you out my real number there. Richard Vibes, hello to you, has joined. Hello, hope you are well. We're talking about composting tips, companion planting, and we were talking about direct sowing and module sowing earlier. Right, all depends on the type of companion planting. Pollinators anywhere, pest control anywhere, under soil help, nematode protection, then as close as possible. Yeah, that's why I was trying to find out. I think they've got to be relatively close. I mean, you wouldn't want your companion planting like the opposite end of the field, for example, in your neighbour's plot to get the best from them. But I don't think they have to be incredibly close. But they certainly, if you're attracting the butterflies and the bees like the marigolds will do in the area, is probably the better way to word it. Is that right? Would everyone agree in the area? Yeah, I think that's the way I would describe it. On that note, has anybody felt like dandelions this year seem to be flowering a lot earlier? We've got hundreds of dandelions, and I think they're early because I remember last year I was obviously on furlough, but I made a dandelion honey, but that was in May. This year it just seems, I know it's May now, this year just seems incredibly early for dandelions. Where I am anyway. I don't know if anybody else is finding that this year. Dandelions out earlier. I tell you what, the dandelion honey I made last year, it was surprising just how like honey it really tasted, and it lasted for quite a while. I've contemplated making it again, but we've got jars of honey in a cupboard that we were given last year, so I don't feel the need of it. Right. Excuse me. Excuse me. Digwell is saying marigolds are a nematode protection, so plant them amongst the crop. There you go. I didn't know about that nematode protection. I'm hoping to. Well, I will be speaking to a nematode company in the not too distant future. Funnily enough, it's the biggest one in Europe, and it's just down the road from me, which might be a reason why I get very few slugs and snails in my garden because of the close proximity. Graham Arnold. I've always have good results from planting marigolds with my tomatoes, but try more companion planting this year rather than using sprays. Does anyone have any tips on this? Well, I've got to admit, funny enough, I spoke about companion planting on the podcast a few weeks ago, and I'm trying more companion planting this year as well. I've not really done it so much over the years, purely because I seem to run out of time to think about companion planting. But this year, I've got marigolds and I've got nasturtiums, which do pop up on my allotment anyway. But I'm making a conceited effort to really try and use them and compare them. In fact, I'm going to have to. I'm trying to think how I can run experiments now. I'm thinking I have to put some. I'll put some companion plantings right next to some plants, some a bit further away, and some with no companion planting going on at all, and we can compare the results. That's what we're going to do. That's it. That's figured it out in my mind for me. We'll experiment. This is a great thing. What we can do is experiment and see just how much it does. Balicillion, yes, usually flower after daffodils, but they flower in at the same time this year. Okay, so it must just be me thinking the daffodils are out early, but hey ho. And Richard Verbs, dandelions in abundance on the South Downs. Digwell, I use a very good website about companion planting, but not sure if I can put it here. Please do. Please feel free to put it up here. I don't mind, because it's not my problem. This is what it's about, is chatting and sharing this information about. Don't forget, you can call in on 07307 135 174, or you can click the link in that I've just put in the comments if you want to zap yourself in and appear on screen with myself. I keep checking because my light sometimes hides the area where people would appear. We've got about 12 minutes to go for this show this evening as well. Now, let's get rid of that. Now, a few weeks ago, somebody, I can't remember who it was asking about the Supporters Club, and I thought, I don't normally advertise this on here, but I thought I'd just show you the seeds I'm sending out this month in the Seed Supporters Club. So I charge £5 a month for this, and you get extra podcasts, extra content, but also each month I send out some packets of seeds that can be sown this very month. So for May's lot, we've got runner bean, a variety called Lady Di, lovage, which is a lovely herb that I quite often like to grow, sweet corn early bird F1, love sweet corn, really want to grow a lot of sweet corn this year. Melon honeydew, which I've sown just before I came on air. Parsnip, a variety called Guernsey. Pumpkin, Rogue Vifta and Tempest, edible variety of pumpkin because I prefer the edible types. And watercress. So yeah, 7 packets of seeds that are sent out throughout May, and they can all be sown this month as a member of the Veg Grower Podcast Supporters Club. Anybody who wants to be a member, it's £5 a month. Just go to veggrowerpodcast.co.uk to sign up. Been told I need to plug it more on here because my members who are, or my supporting members, are such a good fan of it and love what I do. They want to plug it, so I've been told to do that. Where's my mouse gone? There. Turbo Stream. I sowed a border of mixed wildflowers on my plot. I'm hoping they grow and serve as companion planting. Yeah, good idea. I've sown some wildflowers here as well, funnily enough, on the same reason. It's going to try and get those pollinators coming in, and also because the wife has always wanted a meadow. Richard, as a gift, yes, these seeds are a gift. They are sent out as a gift. You are buying membership. You are not doing that. Although I can actually, or I am in the process of being able to do plant passports, so I then can issue seeds not as a gift. But yeah, they are a gift. You are paying for the membership. Well reminded, Richard. Right, what have we got? We've got 9 minutes to go. If anybody has anything they want to add or zap yourself in, let's add the link in again, or call in on 07307 135 174. Please do share, keep sharing your compost tips. Oh, what's happened there? I think the idea here is, the composting tips. I think we've figured it. We've chatted about it. We need equal levels of green and browns. What constitutes as brown is wood, paper, card, egg boxes, coffee grounds, a lot of things like that. I think the definition of browns is that if you took it and put it in a bag, it would stay the same for no matter how long. Whereas if you put something green into a bag, it would wither away. That's my understanding of the definition of green and browns. They will certainly help with the pollinators. This is talking about the wildflower area. This is what I'm hoping as well with the meadow area. Come on, people, ring in. I ring in most weeks, and the members club is amazing. Great seeds and information every morning month. There we go. Stuart's one of the people that is a member. Ian McGorgan, haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like we are going to get some much needed rain on Monday. I haven't seen this in the weather. I knew rain was coming over this last few days, but I haven't read about Monday. Looks like I'm going to have to take my, cagoule, my waterproofs down to the allotment on Monday in order to try and do some work. I've got a lot of stuff I want to get done down there. I think our inspections are going to start this week. They normally start them around May, and this is where they come around and check on how you're looking after the plot. I think my council, compared to my old allotment, they're quite a bit stricter, which is good because they really do keep on top of it, and they don't let some sites go to weed like I used to have on my old allotment site. Do the seeds come with instructions? Yes, they do come with instructions in the newsletter, and I also produce podcasts chatting about how I'm growing them exclusively for Seed Supporters Club. Oh, yes, I've forgotten. I've got photos, haven't I? Durka, you just reminded me. Compost, get your husband to do it. Let's go to these photos quickly because I completely forgot about them, even though there was a few there. So this first photo came in from Ian Beddoes, and he's always a bit of a comedian in the Facebook group. He's sharing his ideas of some labels that we can put into our gardens to describe what a plant is. As you can see, I don't think it will quite work in my garden. Now, this is Durka all the way in Canada, who's, I believe last week we had a trellis from her that she was using on how to plant or spacing. And this is her onions, all looking rather fantastic, aren't they? We've also got some strawberries looking lush and green. Looks like over there they've had plenty of rain. Other than that, they've got a very good watering system going on. But certainly, my strawberries are just starting to spring into life and start to look that green. This is a squash. I forgot to double check what squash it was, but also how big is that looking already? Certainly a bit further ahead than what we are here in the UK. And also tomatoes, which look to be in a polytunnel, also certainly look a bit further ahead than what we are looking here in the UK again. And green beans are planted. Are they in a polytunnel? It look like they're either inside a polytunnel or just outside one. Looking rather lovely and growing rather well. Let's go to then. I knew I'd be frozen as I came back with that. Noe 99 over in Brighton's just had 2 inches of hailstones. We've still got bright sunshine out there by the looks of it. Digwell, not just rain, guys, high gusting winds too. Better make sure everything is locked down and secure. Graham Arnold, I started composting about 3 years ago after I watched Mick Poultney. He knows his shit. He really does. He knows his stuff. Sorry, I shouldn't have sworn. Anybody out there? Sorry, let me give it a back. Yeah, he really does know his stuff and really does do well. Has Richard made any dandelion wine, of which Richard Vobes has came back? Not made any dandelion wine, Ian. But actually, dandelion wine, that's an idea. Like I said, last year I made dandelion honey, which was very nice actually. And now I'm wondering about dandelion wine. One of my favourite drinks has got to be dandelion and burdock. There's a lot of things. I know dandelion is also a diuretic, so it can make you want to go toilet a lot more. But yeah, definitely a food source in some ways, dandelions. Not just for bees and pollen. This is where I sometimes feel... Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that banner as well, because we're coming to the end. This is where I sometimes feel where we have our inspections on the allotment. When it comes to things like dandelions at this time of year, they don't like them. They won't. If you've got a dandelion on your allotment, you'll get a letter. This is why I say the allotment society that we have are really on it. They'll send letters out for dandelions, but at this time of year, they're a great food source for bees, which is why I think it's great to do it. Okay, how's best to combat fungus gnats that have attacked tomato plants? Soapy water, spray soapy water. That should keep them at bay. I've not suffered from fungus gnats myself, purely because I don't have any fungi in my garden, or won't have fungus mushroom compost because I've got a mushroom allergy. But yeah, I think keep spraying them with soapy water should disturb them. I believe if you hang up those yellow sticky things, that will also catch them. I'm not a fan of those myself, but that's another option. Mick Poultney has published a book about composting, available on Amazon. There you go. I know what I'll be buying tonight. I'm going to go get that book. I didn't know that. I will check that out. And thank you, Nigel. Definitely will check that out. Rhubarb wine is lethal. It certainly is. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I haven't done much winemaking last year. I'm going to have to do a lot more this year. What else? There's a lot of banging going on out there tonight. Yellow sticky pads. There you go. That's what one way I thought. Those yellow sticky pads stick on the bugs and insects stick on them. I have seen that they sometimes catch birds, which is why I'm not a huge fan of them. But yeah, yellow sticky pads are something that we can do to catch fungus gnats. Apparently Nigel was on Mick Poultney's show this week as well. So there you go. Right, guys, I think we're going to run it up to the end. Ian McGorgan has just come up. You don't eat mushrooms and we thought you were a fungi. Well, I'd like to think I'm a fungi, but fungi do not appeal to or do not like me because this is it. Go out and check for basically the banging. Yeah, it could be a fox. I don't know. The chickens are locked away, so I'm not too worried. I've made sure of that before I even considered going live. Normally, I would let them out while I'm going live and walking around. Anyway, right, that is it for this week. It's 7 o'clock. Hopefully, any minute now, my wife will be coming home, and I'm going to have to go and got dinner cooking already, so we can eat that straight away. Got chili con carne. Looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast tomorrow. We've got I'm chatting about what seeds we can sow throughout May, list of tasks we can do. One of those shows. I'm thinking this might be the last one because they're easy to do, but I just don't think they're very good for the podcast. We'll be back again next Sunday, as always, 6 p.m. until 7. Doing much of the same, chatting. I'll find a a subject that's relevant, but also keep your questions coming in, keep asking them. Added to that, if anybody has a question or even a tip that they would like played on my podcast, the actual audio podcast that I do, head to adventuregrowpodcast.co.uk. You can leave a voicemail and I can download that voicemail and play it into my podcast. Anybody has anything like that they want to add, please do. It's I love doing those at the moment. Right, yeah, so that's it for this week. Back again 6 o'clock next Sunday. We'll do the same again. What's going on next Sunday? I might try and get Amanda back in here because I know she was well, there was people asking about her. Right, cheers guys, you take care and I'll speak to you all again next time. Wrong one.